Continuing in the series for NFTs, today what we're going to learn is how do we add traits or properties to any specific NFT, and how does OpenSea or any other marketplace basically figure out what is the property that is attached to an NFT and how do they show it. We will build on from all the knowledge that we've received in the previous videos. So I'll be quickly creating one small NFT contract, deploy it, add an NFT and add some traits to that specific NFT. I will not get into a lot of details about the functioning of the NFTs. This is specifically for the traits or properties or attributes, whatever you want to call it. So we will mostly be focusing our time on that rather than creating the whole NFT. If you're interested in learning about NFT, I have my whole series about NFTs and how do they work, how do they technically work, how do we interact with them using JavaScript and whatnot. So if you're interested, then please check it out. I think I'll put some link somewhere. And finally, before getting started, please make sure that you hit that like button, you comment, you subscribe, and please. I mean, I know a lot of people are commenting. I try to respond to all of them, but it really makes me feel very motivated to create more videos like these and actually helps me figure out what should I do, what should I create next. With that out of the way, let's get started. So first things first, what I did was I went to OpenZeppelin, the wizard for OpenZeppelin. I selected ERC721. I added name, which is my token. I don't care. Symbol is MTK. The features that I want are mintable auto increment IDs and URI storage. Rest all is fine. So I want to create a smart contract with these properties. So I'll open this in Remix. And once it opens in Remix, what we'll do is we'll basically compile this and get the bytecodes and ABI. So now that I've opened it in Remix, one thing that I want to do is make sure the token counter is increased before assigning the token ID. Another thing that we need to do is basically receive a token URI in the arguments so that we can use it later to set that token URI with this set token URI method. And the first thing that it takes is the token ID, and the second thing it takes is the token URI. I think that is it. The next thing that we need to do is basically go here and compile this contract. And there's some error already, and the error is that I haven't added memory here. So once this is done, it should compile for sure, and it did. Great. So now I'll select my token as the contract, and the next thing that I'll need is the bytecode and the ABI. Now off camera, what I've done is created this simple page where once you connect with the MetaMask. So let me show you that. I disconnect my MetaMask, I refresh. The first thing that it will do is it will ask me to connect MetaMask. I click next and I click connect. The connection is done, and now what I just need to do is enter the bytecode and ABI over here and click the deploy button, and it will deploy to the network whichever is connected over here in the MetaMask, and the current one that you see over here is Ropsten. So what I'll do is I'll copy the bytecode and go to my favorite Sublime Text, set syntax JSON, and the next thing that I need to do is basically copy this object, go to the page, go to bytecode, paste the object and add 0x over here just to say that this is a hex code. The next thing that we will do is basically copy the ABI, make sure that the ABI is fine. Yes, it looks fine. So I go back here and I paste ABI. After I'm done putting everything, I just click on the deploy button and a transaction should pop up just like that. Now the next thing that I do is click on confirm, and the contract should deploy in a minute or so. So now our contract is deployed at this address, and we already have our ABI present over here. So now I'm here in my index.html, the file that I've always been using. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the address from here and paste it over here, and I'm going to copy the ABI and I'm going to paste it over here. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll go away from the deploy function and go to the index.html, which basically does nothing. It's an old code from my previous video. There's been no change except the address and the mint button. Now one thing that I will want to do over here is see my code. So now in our safe mint, there are two arguments that we're accepting. The first argument is to the address where we want to send this NFT to, and the other is underscore token URI, which is basically giving us the token URI for that specific NFT. If you remember, the metadata extension in ERC 721 is optional, which is an NFT standard. But this is the schema for that metadata. It requires a name, description, and image. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and created a small JSON API endpoint where there's a name, description, and image, and the endpoint is available at this URL. So what I'll do is I'll copy this URL. I'll keep it handy with me over here. The image that we are working with is just some random image that I took from Imager. It's a crocheted Ethereum logo, but yep. So now one thing that we'll do is we'll see that if we have a contract with us, we have present over here. So this is because I'm using the same code that I've used every time, which basically means once you're connected with MetaMask, it instantiates a contract object, a Web3 contract object with the ABI and address that we have sent, and then we'll be using this contract object. Let's just ignore the other parts right now. So now that we have the contract object, what I'm going to do is figure out what are the methods that are present, and then the one that I'm interested in, which is called safe mint. Now safe mint takes two arguments. The first is the to, where do we send this safe minted NFT, and that is where we'll be sending it. And the second argument that we have is the token URI, which I have conveniently stored over here. The next thing that I'll do is I'll press call on it, and I'll do send on it with from being the account. Actually, what I could have done was just use this account over here, and I'll await this thing. All right, time to press the enter button. Now as soon as I press the enter button, it should basically ask me, do I want to send this transaction? I'll say confirm, and hopefully the transaction goes through any moment now. Side note, while trying to get the NFT to show up on OpenSea, there was a small problem. OpenSea only works with Rinkebai test network, and I was doing everything on the Ropsten test network. So I've just received some Rinkebai test network tokens, and I'm going to do everything on the Rinkebai network and then start the video again. So once I minted the whole NFT on Rinkebai again, this is the address and this is the token ID, and you'll see that everything is coming over here. One thing that is cool is that I can just change this name of our NFT and change this to -1 and then press save. The endpoint doesn't change, so what I'll do is I'll go here and refresh metadata, and I think in a couple of minutes it will fetch the right value over here and show it. So I just had to refresh once after a minute, and here it is. It shows -1, the change that I had basically done. Now you will see that there's only details and about. There are no properties that are coming up over here. The description is coming up, which we had added over here. The image is coming up, which is showing up over here, but there are no traits. Now OpenSea and Engine, for that matter, has basically documented how they show attributes, and the whole document is basically here on the metadata standards in the OpenSea documentation. One thing that you'll see over here is that there's this external URL thing as well that sort of comes up. So let's just try that out. If I do external, copy this external URL over here, and then I make those changes here. Let's say I just add the external URL as Twitter and save, and I go here, you'll see that there is no external URL button over here. But now I click on refresh metadata, and I think in a minute or so that should come up, and lo and behold, it has come up. Here it is, and it shows that it will open twitter.com, and it actually does. Great. So this is how basically OpenSea figures out what is the metadata related to that NFT. And if the endpoint is editable, the NFT can be changed by the person who can edit that endpoint. Side note, this is why people like to buy NFTs which are on either IPFS or Arweave, because they depend on the content hash, and that is generally difficult to change. Now there are a bunch of other keys for the metadata that are written in the OpenSea document that you can probably go through later on. But the one that we're interested in is called attributes. And if you see over here, this is how the attributes will show up if you use them correctly. Attributes, as you can see over here, is basically an array of objects. The objects have key and values. The object basically has a key and a value pair, which is trait type, and then we say what is the trait type and the value of that trait type. So the trait type is base and the value is starfish. Once you do trait type base and value starfish, you'll see over here that the trait type sort of should show up as base and the value should show up as starfish. Let's just try that out. I'll add a trait type over here. Now the trait type that I've added is called token, and the value of it should be Ethereum. So now I'll press the save button and go to the OpenSea page. The token should be Ethereum because that's what it looks like. So I click on refresh metadata, and I'll just refresh the page in a minute. We'll have to basically wait a minute, I guess, but it'll show up over here. And while it shows up, what we'll do is we'll see other sort of properties that are available. So OpenSea allows us to have, I think, 5-6 different types of trade. The first is numeric trade. Then there is a date trade where we can add a date to the NFT. So for example, this NFT has a birthday, which is based on the Unix timestamp. And the third is basically a normal trait type where you say what is the trait type and the value that that trait type has. To show it a little differently, we have a display type as well. So let's say a boost number is the trait type that we have, the display type that we have in the trait type. Then the boost sort of comes out like this. Then there's a percentage as well. So percentage comes up like this with like half of this. We have a pure display type like a number, which comes up like this. And just like that, you can see that the property has updated over here. You can see that the trait type is token and the value is Ethereum, which is true for our NFT. Great. So now let's just add a few more. Let me add a birth date. So this is right now's timestamp, so I've saved that. Let's say we want to also add the trait type price, and the value will then be a number and not a string. It will be something like 392520 point, let's say 15. So I press save again, and this is how you basically add attributes to it, attributes to an NFT. And if each token, each NFT has attributes, OpenSea will collect all of them and then figure out the rarity of it. So while we're waiting for OpenSea to update the properties that we have set, I just want to make sure that you have hit that like button, ask me a question in the comment if you have, and subscribe to the page. It really helps me. It really keeps me motivated to see that a lot of people are interested in what I'm saying, interested in what I'm doing, and help me out with what I should do next. All right, with that out of the way, I hope the metadata should have refreshed by now. I'll refresh the whole page, and after that I'll show you how it has worked. OpenSea is generally a little slow with updating the properties and metadata because it needs to fetch it from the APIs. I guess they are conserving their resources, but anyway, we're just waiting for them. While it is updating, we'll see that there are a bunch of other things over here. There's a number, boost percentage, boost number. Hopefully you can try out all of these, and you'll see that they are not that difficult to come up with. And this is what it looks like, generally speaking. Now I'm still waiting for OpenSea to update the properties, but what I'll do is I'll just show the last screenshot at the end of the video. I hope to see you again next week. and hopefully you should see the updated values over here somewhere. क्यों आ रहा हूँ थोड़ी देर में। मेरे को वीडियो में आना है। रुक जा भाई।